What is dual agency or multiple representation? This is what happens when an agent represents both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction, or agents from the same brokerage. So the problem is, well, both buyers and sellers have different goals. The buyers want to pay the lowest price, and sellers want to sell it quickly and for the highest price. So if that's the case, how can anybody represent both sides of a transaction? If you look at it this way, if there were two separate agents representing both sides, they wouldn't share motivation or what the max or minimum that their client is willing to pay or to take. When it comes to one person representing both sides, would you trust that one person to not disclose certain information to the other side? For example, if a seller knows that the buyer is willing to pay a certain amount, let's say $900,000, the seller during the negotiations could probably hold out and get their price. And on the flip side, if the buyer knows that the seller needs to sell, they have to close on a certain date, they might be willing to lowball them to get the price that they want because they know that the sellers are desperate. So why would agents want to get in between these two sides? Well, it's simple. The agent can make double the commission. Whose interest do you think they represent? Some agents are guilty of rigging home sales. For example, in a multiple offer situation, say the agent represents the sellers and they have 3 or 4 interested buyers, and one of them is also the listing agent's client. The bidding process happens and the buyer that the listing agent is also representing somehow wins. Interesting how the agent would know what the seller wants and also what the other bids are. Sometimes the listing agent's buyer wins even though it's not the highest price. And that's when there's a major issue for the seller and for the other buyers that honestly tried to buy this house, but they weren't giving a fair chance at it because maybe their offer wasn't even presented. This is why Vancouver banned this last year, middle of June 2018. The kicker for all of this, the fines that they can get from RECO, the Real Estate Council of Ontario, is between $3,000 to $5,000. I mean, if someone is double ending a deal like this, they could be making quite a lot of money. So really, this is just a slap on the wrist if you get caught. So unfortunately, some of these bad apples make all of us look bad. When you're looking for a listing agent, ask them this question. How would they handle dual agency? What if they have their own buyer? Are they gonna get someone else to represent the buyer so that they can represent you fully? What are your thoughts on dual agency? Do you think Ontario should keep dual agency, or do you think that we should get rid of it? Because in Australia, they have open auction on the street. That's how they do it. Let me know your thoughts. And until then, I'll see you next Wednesday.